Rock used to be dangerous. It challenged people, it pushed the culture forward, and it made the industry uncomfortable. And that's why it's pretty uncomfortable for me to say this. Hip hop does rock better than rock. Now, I already know some of you are clutching your Bon Jovi records and warming up your keyboards ready to tell me I'm wrong, but sometimes the truth hurts a little bit, so let's actually have this conversation. No, like literally as I record this, I just listened to one of A$AP Rocky's new songs off his new record called Punk Rocky, and it quite literally proves everything I'm about to point out in this video. When I say that hip hop does rock better than rock, I'm not talking about the guitars versus the beats, I'm talking about the spirit, the purpose, and the cultural impact. So with that in mind, here are the reasons hip hop ended up where rock used to be. Now, the first reason is hip hop still documents the moment. And what I mean by that is rock used to act like a mirror. You could look at certain albums and instantly understand what the world felt like at the time. Not just what it sounded like, but what it felt like to exist in that era. They weren't just making songs, they were capturing anxiety, politics, confusion, all of that stuff. Modern hip hop albums still try to say something before you even press play. A lot of hip hop album covers are uncomfortable on purpose. They're chaotic, political, ugly in just that DIY punk coded way that rock used to be. They feel like statements and not products. Compare that to most modern rock artwork, it's usually pretty clean, tasteful, and just kind of like professionally designed, like a band photo, color palette, and a font. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just kind of like branding. It's not a cultural commentary. Hip hop album art still feels like it's saying this is where we are, and rock album art kind of just says, what's up? Now guys, I do realize as I edit this video that I am presenting more punk-oriented or political-leaning album covers, and I'm not saying that most album covers today need to be making a grand statement or anything like that. I'm just saying you don't see it as often anymore. My biggest issue is that most album covers I look at nowadays when it comes to rock, I can't tell you what I'm going to be getting into when I look at the album cover, and that to me is an issue. But it's not just the visuals too, like it's the lyrics. Hip hop still argues with the world and it wrestles with systems. Rock used to live in that space and now it mostly just revisits it. Now the second reason is how hip hop and rock reacted differently to failure. Rock used to treat failure like fuel. If something sucked, the next generation showed up just to burn it down. And that's how punk happened. That's how grunge happened. How alternative happened. All of it. That's just how it goes. But instead of starting over, it circles its own history. And that's why when hip hop stumbled, rock never reclaimed the spotlight. Because rock didn't rebuild itself for young people. It protected itself for existing fans. Rock has had so many chances to come back. When hip hop went ultra commercial in the late 2000s, when mumble rap was clowned on, I mean, my god, when streaming flooded the market with disposable music, rock had so many open doors and it just did not walk through them. Because the modern rock industry doesn't award disruption anymore, it just rewards familiarity and nostalgia. And it rewards fitting neatly between two legacy acts on a festival poster. The system around rock today is designed to protect history and not create it. Hip hop's system might be messy, but it is always open. Anybody can break through, anybody can change the sound, and anybody can become the face. Rock doesn't really work like that anymore. And then the final thing is you have the culture itself, not the charts, not the sales, but the culture. There was a time when rock didn't just make music, it shaped how people dressed, how they talked, how they behaved, how they pushed back against the world. That role belongs to hip hop now. For decades now, hip hop has shaped fashion, slang, internet behavior, it shapes aesthetics. Even people who don't listen to hip hop are living inside a culture it helped build. Rock doesn't really just do that anymore. It exists, it survives, and it has its loyal fans, but it doesn't define the moment. And the thing is, it doesn't have to be permanent. Rock doesn't have to just stay here. But it would mean actually choosing the future over comfort, putting new bands in the spotlight instead of treating them like opening acts for legends from over 20 or 30 years ago, sometimes even 40. It would mean writing about what's happening now and not what happened in 1978, because there's a difference between honoring history and hiding in it. And until that changes, rock is always going to feel less like a movement and more like a memory, less like a rebellion and more like sitting on the couch listening to your grandpa tell you how much better music was in his day. Rock wrote the rule book and hip hop picked it up and kept playing the game. So guys, let me know in the comments below, do you think this is true? Do you feel like that hip hop has taken over what rock used to do? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to talk to you about it. Thanks for watching. God bless, and I will see you in the next video. See ya.